official 2024 NFL team schedules have been released. So we're going to go over that. We're going to review it. We're going to look at it. We're going to dissect it. We're going to deconstruct it, pull it apart, and put it back together. I'll go week by week. First, though, we're going to talk about the overarching themes here, some key takeaways before we dive into the nitty-gritty. Okay. Giants will play 8 games against 2023 playoff teams. 2 against Philly, 2 against Dallas, Tampa, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland. We'll also play 5 teams with new head coaches. Washington, Seattle, Atlanta, Carolina, and I guess they meant 4 teams, 5 teams. I don't know. So I know that when this first hit the webs and I looked at it, I almost tweeted, there's 2 parts to this tweet, and I think I'm right about one part, maybe not so much the next part. The first part was going to be, this schedule looks harder than last season, and I think I ended up tweeting that. I don't know what it is. I know last season had a hellacious schedule, West Coast visits, prime time, lots of prime time, which we're not great in. So I understand that was the big takeaway last year. Was like, wow, this schedule is tough as shit. And it was tough as shit the whole way through. But this year seems harder than last season for some reason. Like, and now there's conflicting views about which is harder, the first half or the second half. And it's like, you can debate that until you're big blue in the face. So those are the kind of the biggest takeaways from the schedule release. I don't think we had a schedule release video. They released a video before the schedule release videos usually come out, and they were like, hey, just interviewing people in New York on the street, man on the street style. And they were like, hey, do you know what a schedule release video is? And New Yorkers are like, kind of like, yeah. Do you like them? Some of them. What would you watch our schedule release video if we made one? Probably not. Like, damn, New York, never change. Yeah, we just don't give a shit. The one guy was like, yeah, he's wearing a Mets hat too. He's like, yeah, just put the graphic up. I don't need to see a video. I could care less, which means you could care less. It's actually, you couldn't care less. Wow, Neal, you're a fucking dork. So yeah, no schedule release video. The Titans went back to the well, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Still good, still funny. Chargers had a pretty good one that was based on The Sims. If you don't remember the Titans one from last year, they did it again this year, man on the street style. But this year they had the hot woman who said, "Oh, are those the Red Stallions?" Which it was the Falcons. So I mean, there's so much wrong with that. You're looking at a fucking bird, and you go, "It's that the Red Stallions, a horse," and then you made a roaring cat sound. Wow. Anyway, they got her to host the man on the street style interviews this go round, and it was good. Was it as good as last season? Probably not, but still pretty good. And then, like I said, the Chargers did one that was The Sims, and I don't know that I played a ton of The Sims growing up. I think it came out when I was like right getting into college, maybe it was high school. But there was just a lot of, I think that's for a different generation. I'm just too old to get a lot of that that humor. It was just like were they talking, they weren't speaking English, and then there was a lot of, you'd have to really pause it and like look at all the subtle references. But yeah, Giants didn't have one, and maybe we'll get to see why in Hard Knocks. We'll get to Hard Knocks in a little bit. Anyway, week 1, Minnesota Vikings home game, MetLife 1:00 game. I think everyone, and I'm speaking for everyone, every single Giants fan is happy as a pig in shit that we don't have to play the friggin' Cowboys in the opener again. Minnesota was 7-10 last year, 3rd place in NFC North. Giants trail the Vikings in the head-to-head series, regular season series, 17-10. We smell against Minnesota in the regular season. But in the postseason, we have the edge, 3-1. That one loss should have been a win. 1997 wild card. Is it a divisional wild card? Wild card, where we were up, and then they scored all kinds of bunch of points with less than 2 minutes left in the game, and everyone was just fucking floored. Giants and Vikings will meet in a season opener for just the second time. Last time was September 21st, 1969, when Los Gigantes thwarted the Vikings 24-23 in Yankee Stadium. Yes, all you youngins, all you spermazoa tadpoles. We used to play in Yankee Stadium. Hall of Fame quarterback Fran Tarkenton, who was traded from Minnesota to the Giants in 67, threw 2 fourth-quarter touchdown passes to Don Herman that enabled the Giants to overcome a 23-10 deficit. Minnesota has won the last 4 regular season games in this series. Good God. And it looks like we're either going to get Sam Darnold, so maybe we can get him to see some ghosts and ghouls, or rookie J.J. McCarthy, who we passed on. Could have drafted at 6, which I think a lot of people would have been pissed about and upset about. And we passed on him. So if he starts and he beats us, you don't have to watch for the rest of the season. I think we have our answer about this season and probably the future of Brian Dable and Joe Shane. That's how friggin' important the first game of the season is. You can't lose to J.J. McCarthy. You can't. And expect the fan base to get behind you. So history would say we're probably going to lose. But I don't know. I think that we're going to get off the schneid. When was the last time we went 1-0? When's the last time we won our first opener, season opener? Oh, it was 2022, was it? Maybe? Yes, it was. But it feels like every other year or every year before that and after. 2021, 01, 2020, 01, 2020, 01, 1801. Yeah, I think we have not. That was 2022 is like maybe the first time that we have won a season opener in a long time. We just don't win season openers anymore. Overrated, right? But this year, I think we absolutely have to. I think that's critical. There's no way around it. A lot of people will say, hey, you're overreacting, you're being dramatic. And it's like, nope. I honestly think that if we lose that first game against the Vikings and JJ McCarthy's the starting quarterback, I think everyone's going to lose their minds. So week 2, we go to Commanders Field to play the Washington Commanders. Another 1:00 game on Sunday. Last year Washington stunk, 4-13, last place in the NFC East. In the regular season, we lead the series 107-70, and in the postseason is tied 1-1. We have faced Washington 182 times in the regular season since 1932. It is the most frequently contested rivalry, which is interesting, to say the least. We are 16-10-1 at Commanders Field, and I am less. This is probably the least. Like every time the schedule has been released for I don't know how long now. Definitely at least 5 years, maybe more than 5 years. I want to say less than 10 years. I would say 5 to 10 years. I look at the schedule every time it's released and I put a W next to Washington twice every year. This is the one year where I'm like, we might not beat them at Washington. I got a weird feeling about this game at Washington. They made a lot of improvements lately. They got the new owner. We got the new coach, Dan Quinn. You got the number 2 pick in quarterback Jaden Daniels, a guy that a lot of Giants fans wanted to trade up and get. He was the Heisman Trophy winner, so who knows how he pans out. And they also have Bobby Wagner, who led the NFL with 183 tackles for Seattle. I honestly thought that Bobby Wagner had lost a step and that he was no longer elite, but I guess he's still got something left in the tank. So I don't know. I got a weird feeling about that game. I wouldn't be shocked if we lost it. We are 52-42-5 in road openers. So even though in openers we're not great at home or on the road, I guess we're not so bad. Week 3 we go to Cleveland, face the Browns at Cleveland Browns Stadium. Another 1:00 Sunday game. They were 11-6 last year. AFC second place in the AFC North, 5th playoff seed. It looked like they were going to win the AFC North after they beat the Ravens in November, mid-November, early November. And then they had the emergence of Joe Flacco because Watson got hurt again, and then they got smoked against the Texans in Houston. From 1950 to 69, the Giants and Browns had one of the NFL's greatest rivalries, playing each other twice each season, except for 1968. And since the Browns have moved to the AFC in the 1970 merger, they have played each other only 11 times, in which we own the advantage 6-5. This is going to be the best defense that we face. One of the two best defenses that we'll face. There's been some debate about the other one, which we'll get to. But Cleveland finished second in defensive DVOA last year behind Baltimore. But they do bring back more critical pieces than Baltimore. Reigning NFL Defensive Player of the Year, Myles Garrett. Pro Bowl caliber players in cornerback Denzel Ward, safety Green Delpit, and linebacker Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. And I got that guy, Schwartzy, who we're familiar with from his days in Philadelphia. Oh boy, this is a hard one because our offense smells. It reeks. And who knows, maybe with a revamped offensive line, it won't be as bad. But still, that's a really quality, high quality defensive team. So, if you come out of the gates, you go into Minnesota and you win, and then you win. You win at home against Minnesota, and then you go into Washington and win 2-0, coming into that Cleveland game, and you put up a close game, a good fight, and you're gonna start catching people's attention, and then you might win the fan base over. If you go 0-2 into Cleveland, like, all right, start making your offseason plans. I just don't think it's gonna turn out the way you want it to. So, but that'll be an interesting game. That'll be a good barometer, a good test. See where we're at offensively. I think defensively, the run defense will be severely tested. So we'll see. We know that we've kind of upgraded our pass rush with Brian Burns, but with the loss of Leonard Williams and Ashawn Robinson, can some of the younger guys step up on the defensive line and our free agency acquisition? Can they fill the void and continue to, defend the run, defend the wall, defend the run? Okay, please. So that'd be an interesting game. It's a loss. So, I just remember, like, when the schedule came out, I thought 2 wins. I legitimately had 2 wins. I looked at it and I said, we'll be lucky to get 2 wins. And now that I've started to look at it again, well, you'll see. Week 4, we got Dallas at home. This is a Thursday night football game on Amazon Prime. We trail the series 75-46-2 in the regular season, but we lead in the postseason 1-0. And that's huge. Okay. Why is it I can't remember when that playoff game was? It wasn't 81. It wasn't 84. It wasn't 85. It wasn't 86. It wasn't 89. It wasn't 90. When the hell was that? 2000? No. 2007. Jesus. Wow. Alcohol kills brain cells. I don't know if you know that. I guess maybe weed does too. So I'm on a tear. Yeah. Crazy that we've only met once in the postseason. I guess that happens a lot with division rivals, maybe. I don't know. Dallas 12-5 last year, first place in the NFC East. Got the number 2 playoff seed. They have won 13 of their last 14 meetings, and they're 8-6 in MetLife Stadium against our guys, the G-Men. So oh boy, you come into this game 2-1, coming off a hotly contested game against the Browns, in which you could have won it, but you earned respect. And then you take, if you can then take it to Dallas and give them a run for their money, I think people will have their hopes high. But if you come into the Browns game 0-2, you go down 0-3, you come into that game against Dallas 0-3 at home, and then get embarrassed on primetime television yet again. It's like, all right. Well, Sundays are open, Mondays are open, Thursdays are open. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess you can call this another rebuilding year. We didn't think it would be last year for the most part, but that, I guess, was a rebuilding year where it's kind of like, okay, we're back down to earth now. And then I guess a lot of people are looking at this as a rebuilding year. But if you can come out, stick it to them, just earn their respect. Like, that's the thing that's so shitty is, like, okay, we lose them a lot, but like they're fucking laughing at us on the sideline. Let's make them frown. Let's turn that smile upside down. So I think I have that as a loss. We just can't figure out the Cowboys. Week 5 at Seattle. It feels like we play Seattle every freaking year. This is a late afternoon Sunday game on CBS. Seattle was 9-8 last year, third place in the NFC West, just missed the playoffs. Giants, we are 4-6 in Seattle, including 2-4 at Lumen Field, which opened in 02. And this is the Drew Lock revenge game. We very well could see Drew Lock going in and starting against the Seahawks, depending on if Daniel Jones survives the first, 4 games. And, would you be shocked if it's like, wow, he wasn't able to bounce back from this ACL in the neck, and he just doesn't look the same. He's not able to scramble. He's not able to process anymore. And so, like, what he does best can't be done. And do they make the move to Drew Lock? I mean, if it's, I don't know. That'll be interesting. You start the season 0-4. Do you make a switch? Yeah, I think maybe you do. I don't see us going 0-4. I can see us going 2-2 or 1-3. Most likely 2-2. I kind of, we just are not great in Seattle. So I kind of want to give this a loss, but I still think I think the Seahawks are slipping. They're falling. They can't get up. Shout out DMX. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is a winnable game and we could win it. Week 6, we are home against the Bengals. This is a Sunday night football game on NBC. Bengals were 9-8 last year, 4th in the AFC North, but they were in the playoff hunt, and that was without Joe Burrow. So I think they were able to, that's pretty impressive that they were able to finish above 500 and be on the hunt without, their star quarterback. Giants trail the series in the regular season 6-5, and we are 23, 33, and 1 on Sunday night. Woof, including night 12, 19, and 1 on the road. Also woof. Our most recent victory was that December 18th, the week before Christmas 2022 at Washington, where nothing controversial happened. It was the Kayvon Thibodeau game, and the end of the game went smooth as silk. No controversy whatsoever. We last faced each other, Giants and Bengals, at MetLife Stadium on Monday night, November 14, 2016, when Eli Manning's third touchdown pass of the game, the 3-yarder to Sterling Shepard early in the 4th to help Big Blue to a 21-20 victory. And guess who was there? Yours truly. This is going to sound ridiculous, and I might get my credentials taken away, my fan card. I think that's the last game that I went to. I can't believe it. I can't believe it's been fucking 8 years, but yeah, that was the last game I went to. Went with a buddy and his wife and my then wife. Since then, I had a child and got divorced. So a lot can happen in 8 years. Life comes at you pretty fast. Shout out Ferris Bueller. It's also a box of chocolates. Forrest Gump. How many other references can I make? Yeah, so I mean, there was a time where the home team always won. And then we stopped that, put a stop to that when we went to Cincinnati in 2020 and won. Big, huge defensive effort. But they came up big and won the game for us. I want to say that this, I don't know. I feel like Sunday night we stink. Bengals, if they have Joe Burrow and everyone healthy, they're gonna be tough. So I think that's an L. Pretty brutal. Sorry about that. Eagles at home. This is the most anticipated game of the season. Must watch TV. It's a Sunday at 1:00 game, which is interesting on Fox. Philly was 11-6 last year, second place in the NFC, number 5 playoff seed. We trail the series in the regular season 90-86. In the postseason, we trail 3-2. We're 5-9 against the Eagles in MetLife, and we're 0-1 the postseason. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about how devastating that divisional round loss in January of 2009 was to me, to the fan base, to the world. We're going to play a bunch of players, former players this season. And number 1 on the hit list is running back Saquon Barkley. So this is Saquon's return to MetLife in an opponent's jersey, and he couldn't have picked a worse opponent to join. And I would imagine, I don't know, I guess you might get a mixed reaction. You might get a half cheering, half boos. I cannot condone or approve of or accept everyone cheering for him, and I'm hoping it's more boos than cheers. And I know booing has gotten a bad rap over the past, I don't know how, decade plus. Booing is like passe, it's gauche. It's not, it's doesn't behoove you. It's like it's I don't know. Now all of a sudden we're supposed to, like, we're fanatics, dude. We're emotional, we're not logical. So let us boo, you know? We have all this pent up anger and frustration, and we're not going to sit there and watch this guy come in. He literally could have gone to so many other teams and come back, and I think everyone would have cheered. It's just the Eagles, maybe the Cowboys, not even the Commanders. It's the Eagles. You pick the worst possible team to go to. So that'll be, man. Oh my God, how amazing would it be? And that could be the game that kind of changes the momentum for us. Because, like, best case, I mean, I don't know. I feel like best case scenario going into that game, you're 3-3, so you're hanging in there through the first six. You're 500 through six, playing some pretty good teams: Cowboys, Bengals, Seahawks, Browns. Like, those are some pretty high quality teams. So to come into week 7 3-3 would be huge, and then to get the win over Philly and stuff Saquon, just shut him down. We're flying high, and we're not thinking just playoffs. We're booking tickets for February. Holy shit, Neal, what are you doing? Knock it. Next week is at Pittsburgh against the Steelers. I saw this and I thought it's a win. I don't know why I have so much confidence in this win. I mean, they were 10-7 last year. Everyone counted them out after they lost to, like, the Patriots, and I think they lost to the Cardinals, maybe. Two of the worst teams in the NFL. They finished in third in the AFC North. They had the number 7 seed. They went through all kinds of quarterbacks, backup quarterbacks, backups, all that stuff. They move on from I want to say Kenny Galladay. Kenny Pickett. They bring in Justin Fields. They trade for Justin Fields. They sign Russell Wilson. Defensively they're stacked. I think defensively we're going to have some problems. Our offense is going to have problems with their defense. But I think our defense can really stick it to their offense. I just don't see Justin Fields. First of all, you'd have to think that Fields is going to win that competition, right? He's going to win the starting job, and Wilson as the backup. And who knows if Wilson by this week is even cool or happy with being the backup. He might demand a trade or something. But I don't see that offense playing well. Call me crazy. The defense could give us fits, though. Pittsburgh has won 3 in a row and 4 of the previous 5 games in the series, which began in 1933. Giants lead the overall series 44-31. There have been 3 ties. This is where it gets tricky. And this is why my confidence level in a dub plummets. We're 26-47-1 on Monday night. Yikes. That includes 16-32-1 on the road. Double yikes. This is our only Monday night appearance of the season. Thank the Lord, who's in charge of scheduling. The Lord of scheduling. And this will be the second consecutive Giants-Steelers matchup to be played on Monday night. The last one was in 2020, September 2020, when, oh, dear Lord, Jones threw 2 tutties to Darius Slayton. And we thought, is Darius Slayton a wide receiver 1? And we only thought that for the next fucking his entire career. So, still on the fence on that one. He is holding out like a wide receiver 1. So there you go. He wants a new contract like a wide receiver 1. He's acting like it. Probably wants like $1 million more. And then that was also the game where I saw one of the longest, grittiest drives that a quarterback can possibly lead to end in absolute flames, where he got hit, ball goes up in the air, in the red zone, intercepted, drive over, game over. This is our first road Monday night game since November 2021, which was a 30-10 shellacking to Tampa Bay. Brady and those Bucks. That was also the game, I think, that Andrew Thomas caught his touchdown, tied with Kenny Galladay in terms of franchise touchdown receptions in franchise history. Teams met, Steelers and Giants met every season from 33 to 69. except when World War II went down. Minor inconvenience. Can't believe they didn't play through that. Steelers moved to the AFC in a 70 merger. They've only played 11 times since then, 7 in Jersey and 4 in Pittsburgh. Steelers lead in those games 7-4. And we talked about the defense. TJ Watt was the NFL sack leader last year. He had 19 total sacks. So, well, if you want to know how our offensive line can stand up to pressure, I mean, we should know by now whether we got a decent line or if it's total shit again. But I would imagine, you know, they might not even put Watt over Thomas. I don't see why they would. Just put him on Evan Neal or whoever the hell we have at right tackle. And then watch the fireworks, my man. Grab your popcorn. Week 9 is against the Commanders at MetLife Stadium. Another Sunday 1:00 game. We are 9-4-1 against Washington at MetLife. So I'm still very confident in getting the dub there at home. But this is the first time in a long time where I got split skis in terms of the 2-game set in 2024. Like I can very easily see us dropping that game in Washington. Dan frickin' Quinn. Week 10, I don't know if we're the home team or away team here. We're playing the Panthers of Carolina in Munich, Germany at Allianz Arena. It's the day after my birthday, 9:30 in the freaking morning on NFL Network. Carolina was somehow worse than us last year, 2-15, last place in the South. We are tied the regular season series 6-6. We trail in the postseason 1-0. I don't need to talk about that friggin' wild card game anymore. The fact that we were 11-5 going in that friggin' game and had all the confidence in the world and got shut the fuck down. This is where it's confusing because this says the Giants will play a regular season game in Germany for the first time in their 100 season history, and then literally in that same article that I read, it said the game against Carolina will be the Giants' second in Germany, their first in 30 years, their first in Munich, and their first in the regular season. There we are. First in the regular season guy. Yeah. You know what? Paying attention to detail is for suckers. This is the Giants' 4th game in Europe. We are 3-0. It's us and the Vikings, both undefeated in Europe. The teams will meet for the 3rd time in 4 seasons. Giants seeking our 3rd straight victory. So this is the 2nd game we played in Germany, the first regular season game. The other game, there it is. Preseason game against the San Diego Chargers in Berlin in August of 94, when we won 28-20. It was played in Berlin Olympic Stadium, the primary outdoor venue for the 1936 Olympic Games. I think that's when Jesse Owens completely showed up Adolf Hitler. Some say that might have sparked Adolf Hitler to go on a fucking rampage. Jesse Owens. That's how good he is. We have won 3 games in 3 different stadiums in London. There was the 2007 game against the Dolphins. I think that was the first game that Illuminor, our new guard / tackle, that we picked up in free agency, saw and watched. Now he's a member of the team. So cool. We had that game in 2016 against the Rams when Landon Collins had that awesome interception return for touchdown. And then we had the game against the Packers in 2022 where we big time upset against Aaron Rodgers in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And then we will also be facing A'Shawn Robinson. So, we signed him to a really team friendly deal last year, kind of a prove it deal. And he, for the most part, proved it, especially after Leonard Williams got shipped off. Now he's with the Panthers. So it's interesting to see, what he can bring to the table against us. He did get significantly more money with the Panthers. So good for him. Good on him. But we'll see if we're going to regret it. I don't think we will. And then thank Jeebus. We have a bye after that Germany game. Thank you. I think it's the case for most teams that go overseas. They get the bye the next week. I would hope they do. So we get the bye in week 11. Historically, we've done well in the bye, I think. This season, I don't know. We could come out of that bye with an L. Not feeling good against the bye. The bye has made some great additions over the years. Really up and coming. Okay, yeah, it's a bye. Week 12, we go to Tampa Bay to face the Bucks. This is the Sunday before Thanksgiving at Raymond James Stadium on CBS. Tampa was 9-8 last year. They won the NFC South and they were the number 4 seed, and they beat the Eagles handedly, where literally Eagles fans were wearing brown paper bags over their heads at a fucking playoff game. I just like, Jesus Christ. Ooh, they're tough. Giants lead the regular season series 15-9 and the postseason 1-0, 1-0. That was a game I went to. Just a quick reminder, I was at that game. So some are saying I'm good luck. November of 2020, the Giants. I wasn't going to include this, but I don't know. This is kind of a fun fact. Giants jumped out to an 11-point lead in the November 2020 game and then allowed 19 second half points to lose 25-23. I believe that was against Mr. Brady, the freshly roasted Mr. Brady. And then the Giants beat Tampa on October 1st, 2017 by a score of 25-23. These are the only 25-23 results in the Giants franchise history. We've played more than 1,400 games, 1,455 games, including postseason play. And those are the only 25-23 results. What? When we get together with the Buccaneers, it gets weird. And then we'll be facing our former guard, Ben Bredesen, who I didn't even know went to the Bucs. I just like missed that somehow. So, I honestly think we can come out of that with a win. I know Baker got paid, good for him, but I just don't see the Buccaneers being able to repeat what they did last year. I think they take a step back, and I think we take advantage of that. Week 13, we go to Dallas to face the Cowboys. This is a Thanksgiving game. Oh, yeah. So might have to double up on the binge drinking that day. We have lost 7 consecutive games in AT&T Stadium, and we're 5-10 overall there. We first played on Thanksgiving in 1926, in our second year, when we defeated the Brooklyn Lions 17-0. Suck it, Brooklyn. And after a 2-year hiatus, we played in a Thanksgiving Dame. Thanksgiving Dame? We played in a Thanksgiving Dame. Dame, what the hell's her name? Dame Judy. She's a hottie, right? We played a Thanksgiving Day game every season from 1929 to 1938. We did not play again until 1982. We all are familiar with that 1982 Thanksgiving game when Lawrence frickin' Taylor picked off the pass towards the goal line and took it to the house. MIA. Giants are 7-6-3 on Thanksgiving. We're 1-4 in the Super Bowl era, including 0-2 in Dallas. 2 years ago, 2022, we were hurting for a squirting, and we managed to somehow pull it together and come out with a 2020. We made it close. It's 2020. I think we had opportunities to win. There was the Saquon drop that people blame DJ for. So, we played it closer than a lot of people thought. So good on you for the 28-20 loss. Moral victory, right? Our most recent victory on Turkey Day came in that, what I mentioned, the 13-6 win against the Lions in Detroit. LT's fourth quarter 97-yard interception return for a touchdown. That's a loss. It's just like, I wish I could, but I'm hoping it's another one of those losses like we had the last go around, where it's like we kept it close, we fought, and hopefully earned a little respect. We didn't just roll over. So week 14 we're home against the Saints. Saints were 9-8, just missed the playoffs. We're second in the NFC South. We lead the regular season series 17-5. We are 2-1 against the Saints in MetLife, and I hope, no cap, we blow the fuck out of these guys. I hope we blow them out big time. Like, remember in 2012 when we won 52-17 or something like that? Let's run that back. Let's do that again. I would very much like that. That was one of the most frustrating games of last season, and there were a ton of frustrating games, but to come off the Packers win with Tommy DeVito, you start to think, all right, maybe we can turn this thing around, and we're facing a Saints team that's not exactly that strong. They're a lot of fighting just to get the division crown, because you probably won't get the wild card. And then for us to lay a duck, DeVito was knocked out, and then Tyrod got knocked out or something. I don't know. We went through like 3 kickers. Jamie Gillen pulled his hamstring but hit a field goal. It was like just a weird game. But like, if you remember correctly, every time DeVito got sacked, they did that stupid fucking DeVito gesture in his face. So I'm hoping that we can return the favor this year and remind them, hey, you don't disrespect the family. Okay. So I'm going to say a win there. It could very easily be a loss, but I think we get a win there. And then week 15 against the Ravens at home. They were 13-4 last year, first in the AFC North, number one playoff seed, and then fell short at home against the Chiefs. Apologies to Stavi, Stavros Halkias. Giants trail the regular season series 4-3. In the postseason, we trail 1-0. We all know where that loss came in, right? We all know. Giants have won their last 3 home games against the Ravens, 2008, 2016, and 2022. This is, many would say, the best offense we're going to face in 2024. They finished 4th in points per game last year, 28.4. They have the offensive, they also finished 4th in offensive DVOA. Learn how to read. And 2-time reigning NFL MVP Lamar Jackson. And they also, no big deal. Just a minor transaction over the wire. They signed running back Derrick Henry after he finished 2nd in the league with almost 1,200 rushing yards for the Titans last year. So am I crazy to think that we could pull out another W against this team? Yes, I am. I think that's going to be a close, hard-fought game. I just can't see us, like 2008, we ran roughshod over them with Earth, Wind, and Fire, I believe it was. 2016, OBJ, taking it to the house, winning in the 4th quarter. And then 2002, we get the huge Julian Love interception. We get the strip sack from KT. I think it'll be closer than a lot of people think. I don't think they're going to go steamroll us. But who knows? It's week 15 at that point, and maybe we've all given up. But I think if we're in the hunt, we're still in it. I think that we give them all their worth. We give it all, and then some. Close loss, and that might spur us coming down the home stretch. Week 16 is at Atlanta. I originally had this as a W, but people seem to think that with Kirk Cousins at the helm and with the weapons that he has, like he's the missing piece of the puzzle for that offense, and so that he's worth at least 2 or 3 wins. They finished 7-10 last year. They were in 3rd place in the South. We trailed the regular season series 14-11, but in the postseason, y'all know 24-2. Y'all know 2012, our first and only home playoff game at MetLife. Atlanta has won 3 straight and 4 of the last 5 games in the series, including the last 2 in the Garden State. By all accounts, I think everyone who watched the draft or heard about what happened draft night was flummoxed and perplexed and thought it was an absolute dumb move for the Falcons to draft Michael Penix Jr. at 9 after having signed Kirk Cousins to a 4-year, $180 million deal in free agency. Barring any injuries to Cousins, Achilles injuries ain't no joke. He's 35. He's entering his 13th season. He's got Drake London. He's got Kyle Pitts. He's got Bijan Robinson. So the offense, that's gonna be a good matchup for the defense. So that'll be tough to keep up with. But is their defense any good? I don't know. I don't think so. From 1981 to 2007, the visiting team has won 12 consecutive games in the series, the longest such streak in NFL history. Going into Atlanta, it's a wild card. So many question marks. Because if Cousins is hurt again, and Penix is the quarterback, and then he comes out and beats us, we're going to have, it's just like the JJ McCarthy thing. It's like, well, we should have got, shoulda, woulda, coulda. I still believe that this can be a win, especially if we're coming out and we play it close against Baltimore. We beat New Orleans. We play it close against Dallas. We beat Tampa. We're kind of right there. We're like win one, lose a close one, win one, lose a close one. And if we take that kind of good energy, positive vibes into hot Atlanta, I think we can get the dub. Then week 17, we're home against the Colts. It'll be either Saturday, December 28th or Sunday, December 29th. And I think it's the first time I've ever seen that. It's like, well, it could be one of the days. We're not sure. And we're not sure about the time. We're not sure about who's going to announce it or where it's going to be broadcast. Like, This is an official schedule release, sir. Sir, it's an official schedule release. Giants trail the series record amazingly, 10-7, and then we also trail in the postseason 2-0. Colts are 1-1 versus the Giants in MetLife. I think we got smoked by Andrew Luck in 2014, and then we thrashed them towards the end of 2022 to clinch a playoff spot. And that was the game that Bobby Okereke punched Daniel Jones and also has 17 million tackles. And we're like, maybe we should sign that guy. And then we did. And he gave us one hell of a year. December 28th is the 66th anniversary of the greatest game ever played. The Colts 23-17 overtime win against the Big Blue in the NFL championship game in Yankee Stadium. Still don't get the greatest. It's crazy that it gets that moniker, the greatest game ever played. Insane that it gets to keep that moniker. I mean, I wasn't there. My grandfather has passed. My father was just a wee boy. So it's I need to talk to some older Giants fans and be like, was it really the greatest game ever played? Because it's insane that we keep calling it that. Because I from what I've seen, I haven't watched the whole game, and maybe I should. But it's like, okay, was it because it went into overtime and was the first NFL championship game to go in overtime? Maybe I could see it that way, I guess. And then we finish out week 18 at the Link in Philly. Also TBD. Will be in the year 2025. Whoa. If man is still alive, right? We have lost 11 consecutive games at the Link. It's the longest streak in one stadium in franchise history. We're 6-15 in the regular season, 0-2 in the postseason play there. We lost in 2006 at postseason. Technically, the year was 2007. And then we lost. What was the other time we lost? Oh, yeah. Fucking 2 years ago. It will be 2 years ago. When we got all high and mighty. We thought we were all full of ourselves after beating Minnesota in Minnesota and then went into Philly and just looked so goddamn soft. So yeah, that's the schedule. So initially, yeah, I thought we were gonna come away with 2 wins. I was like, well, I can count 2 definite wins on the schedule. And I think I've since backtracked and I thought, and so after that, I gave it some more thought. I was like, I guess I could see 6 wins. And now looking through the schedule and talking myself into it, I mean, I have said 10-7 since we got into the 17-game season. I've said 10-7, I think, almost every year. And then I think before, when it was 16 games, I think I had us like 10 wins or 9 wins getting a wild card. It's always 9 or 10 wins getting the wild card. I think I've had that prediction every year for the past, I don't know however many years. But here we go. I had 6, but now after reviewing in further detail, giving it some more thought, 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, 2-2, 3-2, 3-3, 4-3. What? 5-3, 6-3, 7-3, 8-3, 8-4, 9-4, 9-5, 10-5, 11-5, and possibly 12-5. That's our ceiling. No, I think it's probably going to be around 6 wins. Yeah, I think we can beat Minnesota. We could very well lose to Washington and Washington. I think we lose at Cleveland. I think we lose against Dallas. We might sneak a win in Seattle. We'll lose to Cincinnati at home. I'd really like us to fucking show up and show out against Saquon at home against Philly. I still think that's a loss. And then at Pittsburgh, I had it as a win versus Washington. I had a win versus Carolina win. So that's we go into the bye, and I think we can go into the bye on a high. And then it's really that latter half of the season it could be a really rocky road. At Tampa, I think is a win. At Dallas is a loss. Home against the Saints, win. Ravens loss. Atlanta, win. Indy, win. At Philly, I mean, could very easily be a win depending if they're sitting starters, if we're in the hunt, if we already clinched. But as Big Blue BCR pointed out, the last year that we had, the Ravens at home, the Colts at home in week 17, we finished up at the Eagles. And there was a couple of things he pointed out. What was 2022 when we went to the playoffs? So maybe we can just repeat that, rinse and repeat, But most likely, yeah. The ceiling's 12-5. I think realistically 6 wins, but what would it take to get a wild card? Yeah, I guess it would be 9 or 10 wins. So you have to sneak 3 or 4 wins. Which games are the games that we can sneak wins? Hmm. Home Ravens, home Eagles, home Cow. Like, you know, we got to start winning these games against the Cowboys and Eagles when it matters. So yeah, that's the 2024 Giants schedule. We can't afford to lose again at the Commanders in week 2, considering what we got coming along the lines. And our toughest stretch, according to Charlotte Carroll, the Athletic, is the weeks 12 through 18. Bucks, Cowboys, Ravens, Eagles, Saints, Colts. The only team that finished below 500 was the Falcons last year, and they obviously, I think a lot of people think that they're probably not going to repeat that this year with Kirk Cousins, should he stay healthy. But she predicts 8-9. Bold prediction, I think. I'd love to see that. I think I'd love to see that. 8-9. I know a lot of Giants fans would probably say, well, if you're not going to make the playoffs or be in the hunt, you might as well tank and get a high pick and blah, 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 blah. Just like they said last season when they were like, we'll see. Now we're going to miss out on friggin' Drake May and Jaden Daniels and whoever the fuck.